Papa Chubby here. This is the first European Masterclass. I'm here with my good friend here, Andreas, and my good friend here, Martin, who have decided to join us today. And it's interesting because Martin here brought up a interesting point. He said he likes my playing, which is kind of funny. But besides that, he likes it because he thinks I have a good style of combining rhythmic playing with single note lines. And I would like to say that, in my opinion, gentlemen, that is the essence of what makes a good guitar player. You can play solos all day long, but if they don't apply to the rhythmic pattern, and mainly to the quarter note, because most of the music we play is in a 4/4 time signature. Most rock and roll is 1, 2, 3, 4. Most blues rock, every once in a while you get something in 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, which is cool too. But still, it always comes down to the quarter note. And what a lot of guitar players do, they forget all about that. And they just fly off into playing note clusters, and what I like to call, and first of all, I know I'm speaking English. Is that cool with both you guys?
Yeah. Sure.
So I can speak in German, but then you really wouldn't understand me.
Oh, it's good.
What a lot of guitar players do is they play notes that don't have any meaning.
Yeah.
The reason the notes don't have any meaning is because they don't apply to anything. So what I would like to do is I'd like to start with a very simple but yet important rhythmic concept, which is playing 4 to the bar. So if we have a blues progression, say in this tempo, and we're going to take a really simple progression and open the end. Just let me play it for you one time, and I'll ask you to join me. Now what I'm doing is I'm using the low E note as a common tone, which means every other note I play has the E as well. So first we're playing E and B, and then E and C sharp, and E and D. So the whole key, what we want to do is we want to relate it to the quarter note. So the most important thing is that everything falls cleanly on this rhythm. Now I'd like you guys to join me. 1, 2, 3. All right, good. Let's stop for a second. That's good. You both have the pattern really well. It's a very simple pattern, but still, you hear that pattern in a million songs.
Yeah.
Now, let's take that pattern and really apply the rhythm concept. Let's bring it down to the quarter note. So instead of the pattern, let's just really feel 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You first, Andreas. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Very good. 3, 4. That's it. Now you're feeling it. That's a big difference from what you first played, because now you're feeling the quarter note, which gets back to Martin's concept. So in a way, the point that Martin made is you are now applying.
Yeah, okay.
What he said. That's the most important thing, and no matter what rhythm, no matter what pattern you play, what song you play, identify what's called the dominant rhythm pattern. What's the tempo, and where's the quarter note? It's a little game.
Yeah.
Feel that right down. Excellent, excellent. Okay, that's great. Now we're going to add something to that. This is a really cool thing that I like to do when I play that pattern. I played it. Damn, Christmas solo, my strings are taking the same pattern, we're going to add a high E syncopated pattern to it. So we're playing on the quarter. What we're going to do is it's just adding a syncopated note on the end. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Good, good.
Okay, yeah.
So what we want to do is pluck and then pull off with our finger. That's it. Yep, you got it.
I think so, but
That's all right. It takes a little time because your muscles have to learn it. That's it.
no.
Yep. Yeah, you'll get it.
Okay.
Yep. You got it now. Excellent. All right. Hold on to that for a second, and let's try it with Andreas. That's all right. It takes a minute. Yep. Now, that's good. You both got the pattern, but what we now have to do is we have to apply that pattern to our initial concept, which is the dominant rhythm pattern. Because if we just play that pattern without applying it to the quarter note, it's not going to have any value or any meaning. What gives a syncopation value is the fact that it works against a constant pattern. So any syncopated pattern only works against a dominant rhythm pattern. Okay. So if you want to go da 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 or da da da, it's got to work against da 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 da. If I take this way, it's da 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 da. It means nothing. So I'll do it one more time, then we'll try it all together, nice and slow. Very good. That's, I feel it. That's good. Now, so in a blues progression, we call it a 1-4-5 progression. We've all heard that term, right? So we're in the key of E. The 1 chord is E. The 4 chord, anybody? A, very good. And the 5 chord?
It's going to confuse you.
No, B.
H in Germany.
Oh, you call it?
No,
it's a language barrier. So we have 1, E, 4, A, and the 5, B. So we're going to take this concept now, and we're going to apply it on all the chords. So watch me for a second. Turnaround right there.
And that's good news that we don't have to go up here where we don't have enough fingers.
Well,
okay.
The thing is, we can go everywhere.
Okay.
Ultimately, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to be able to go everywhere on the neck and play, even though we can play a turnaround. Exactly. So. But I know what you mean. That's a nice way to do it, what I just did, because it's all in the first position. And the first position for guitar is heaven. It's when we're playing an open E, because we got all these beautiful open strings. Put these strings on. So the second step is the 4 chord, and we're going to do the same thing in A. But I want to stress one thing. no matter what we're doing, what we want to think of first and what we want to feel first is the dominant rhythm pattern. Always bring it down to the quarter note, because later, and in a few minutes, we're going to get into soloing. When we solo, we're going to be wanting to feel that quarter note always, and then that's going to make our solos become phrases instead of just note clusters. And that's the difference between when you hear somebody like Rory Gallagher and he feels like he's speaking, or somebody like Stevie Ray Vaughan or Jimi Hendrix, and you feel like they're talking when they're playing. It's because they're talking around a conversation. It's a conversation and not somebody just going, like when you talk to an idiot or a moron and they go, and it means nothing. That, you know what I'm saying, right? So what I think is the coolest part of the blues progression, which is the turnaround. The turnaround, I don't know why they made the turnaround. It's so, I think initially blues was played by people in smoky bars, having sex, drinking whiskey, gambling, and when the turnaround came around, it gave the women a chance to get up for a second and turn around. So that's what I think. No, I'm making it up. I'm making that up anyway, but I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And the turnaround comes at the end of the progression. There are a lot of different ways to play it. Both of you played something that made me think of something. What Andreas was doing is he's using a common tone. Where, play that one more time, Andreas. And what you're doing is, you're playing the E in the 12th fret, and with every part of the turnaround, you're playing a different note in the bass pattern. But the E is staying the same. That's called the common tone. And no matter where we play this turnaround, whether we play it in the 12th fret, the octave up here, or down here, using that concept, common tone where it's at. And there are a lot of different ways to play it. That's a descending turnaround because we're going down with the notes. We can also go up. We can harmonize it, where we take now what I did there was I took both Andreas's idea and what I did was I added a harmony so we have a chord. So also do that ascending. Now I'm adding another concept there, which is the hammer-on. We'll get into that a little bit later. But what I'd like you to be able to do is to understand how, while we're using the common tone and we're using a bass note, we're now also adding a note in the middle. So the first one is good. Then we just take it down a half step. Good. So when we do that in time on the quarter note, it's like this. 3, 4. Let's use the concept of the dominant rhythm pattern staying on the quarter note. Because now we have a bunch of tools here. We have a little bag, a little mojo bag, if you will, full of cool tools that we can use. And that's what a guitarist has. Guitar player is kind of like a carpenter in a way. Carpenter goes on the job site, he's like, what do I need here? I got a saw, I got a hammer, I got a level. Guitar player goes, I got a quarter note, I got a dominant rhythm pattern, I got so on and so forth. So the first thing we want to do, if we were building a house, the first thing we would do, we would make sure we had level ground, and we'd make sure everything was ready to build on. For us, that's the quarter note. We always start with finding the quarter note. So before we're going to sit down and play, we're going to feel it inside. We're just going to go. You ever see like John Lee Hooker play, man?
Yeah.
How is he so funky? You ever notice he's always going?
Yeah, you always start with that.
Always, because he's always feeling. That's the thing. He's feeling the blues. You got to feel it, man. You just can't play it from here. You got to feel it here and down here too. All right. So we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why did Stevie Ray sound so good when he was doing like Pride and Joy? Because
I think it also adds a lot of groove to the play when you do that.
Infinite growth. It gives you a lot of width and dynamics. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. That's a good point. Really good point. Talk about Stevie Ray. Talk about single note lines. Talk about soloing. Now, why did Stevie Ray sound good? Because his soloing was all around a phrase, even like when he would like. And it's all around. You take that away, and we have nothing. Then you have just another guy who's not Stevie Ray.
Yeah.
That's why it felt so good. So what we have to do is now talk about some tools for soloing that we use. Single note lines. First, single notes. Then, a big tool, big concept, really important, vibrato.
Yeah.
Shaking the strings, man. Albert King. That's where Stevie Ray got all that from, was from people like Albert King was the first guy to pick up the guitar and go, instead of just going, jazz guys would play and they'd go. Then along came the blues guy and he went. So there are different kinds of vibrato. We have vibrato from the wrist, vibrato from the finger, and vibrato from the arm. Hello. And here we go. Shaking the string like that. Why don't you guys try it for a second? Good, good, good. Very expressive. So what I like to do, here's another technique, is the hammer-on.
Yep.
A hammer-on is when, if I want to end up on this note here, I'm going to start a whole step low. So what I like to do is I like to hammer on, and then add vibrato. Yeah.
That little extra time before you actually
Well, you want to time it to the quarter note. So again, it comes back to the quarter note.
No, not the time the vibrato lasts, but you're not going like.
Well, those two notes happen in the space of a quarter note.
Sure.
So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4.
That part is clear.
Okay.
The time the vibrato starts, not immediately. The hammer on, you give it room to breathe.
It's up to you.
Basically, it's up to me.
Vibrato is expression.
Yeah.
So
okay.
What you have to do.
My trademark.
Everybody.
Keep yours, get mine.
Exactly. Everybody. Exactly. You got it. This is your own personal stamp. Everybody's vibrato. The vibrato is maybe the most personal thing that any guitar player has. A good exercise is just go. starting a little ahead of the
early.
note.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to time the quarter note to where we start the note. So it's like this. It's almost like an and before the notes you have.
Yeah.
And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, there you go. Excellent. Now let's throw another concept in here. Let's throw another thing into the big pot and stir it around a little bit. See what we get. And this concept, everybody knows this one. Bends. Bending strings. Oh yeah. There you go. It feels good to bend strings. Ah, you're doing something really cool. You're doing a pick sweep into the bend. That's an even cooler concept. So when we put them all together, when we take all these concepts together, we have bends, we have hammer-ons, we have pull-offs, and we have vibrato. All our tools. And then we also have the concept of the quarter note. We have the concept of the common tone. So you hear stuff like, this is a really classic Muddy Waters riff I'm going to play. You'll hear Jimi Hendrix play it. You'll hear a lot of blues players. I'll bend, pull off, vibrato, octave. There's 2 parts to this. He's got it. The first part is the pull off. Doing 3 notes. Yeah, and then you try it. Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah. We have the pentatonic scale down here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this progression, the whole progression, and we're going to try to apply these concepts in our soloing to get back to what Martin was talking about. Rhythmic concept with single note lines married into a perfect happy union where they're living happily together.
Yeah, okay.
All right? This is a whole concept of, in my opinion, my humble opinion, great guitar playing. This is the basis of it. From here, you can learn different scales, different positions, more notes, play faster, whatever you want. But if you relate it back to this concept, it's going to be more powerful. You're going to have more focus in what you're playing. So let's take the whole progression, and we will take turns soloing, and we'll go around. Okay?
Okay.
And we'll let I will take the first one. Ready? So 1. We'll play the rhythm all together once, then I'll take the first solo. You take the second, and you take the third. So 1, 2, 3, go.